I've been getting asked how to beat Lagiacrus a lot, and understandably so, because Lagiacrus really hurts. Lagiacrus is a difficult monster, and for players looking to get the sweet, sweet armor from Lagiacrus, this could be a big hill to climb. So I'm here to help. I've hunted quite a few Lagiacrus over my Lagiacrus gear challenge, and a whole bunch more since then, and I feel like I have a good grip on how to take the crocodile down. Let me make this hunt easier for you. By the end of this video, I'll have given you so many tips that'll make taking down this Thunder Gator a little easier to handle. Taking down Lagiacrus starts back at camp. We got to look at our gear for a few skills to add that can make life a lot easier. And just a quick disclaimer here, none of these considerations are required. I took down my first Lagiacrus in low rank Hope armor. A lot of barrels were used to accomplish that, but the point stands. You can run whatever you'd like. Come on! That's right! You're coming with me, you big crocodile! Yeah! We did it! Yeah! The barrel plan worked! Every build that I use in Monster Hunter starts with Mushroommancer. Mushroommancer is a skill that makes you very healthy with the abundance of max potions, passive healing, and passive buffs it provides. If you don't know what Mushroommancer does, there's a video in the description that goes over all the details. The buffs provided by the mushrooms are very good, and you should be using all of them if you're running Mushroommancer, but the 10 extra max potions is going to help the most against Lagiacrus. Instantly consumed and a full health bar for every hard-hitting attack is very strong and very helpful. If you're not a Mushroommancer fan, I would highly consider running Speed Eating instead. Speed Eating is going to have you essentially instantly drinking potions, most importantly Mega Potions after taking a hit. Spending less time drinking potions and more time smacking Lagiacrus will help a lot. For your weapon, you might consider a fire element weapon, as Lagiacrus is weak to fire. I usually run a fire Arshan charge blade, but Arshan weapons are not required for this hunt. And another consideration for your weapon is a shield. The thunder attacks on Lagiacrus are deadly, but a shield can block it all and save your bacon more than you think. I've hunted Lagiacrus with a bunch of different weapons, and charge blade was the first weapon that I felt like I had a good handle on with the hunt. It has a shield to block all the big attacks, a huge damage combo with the super amplified elemental discharge, and a little range. But the weapon that I felt the most comfortable with was the Switch Axe. I feel like Switch Axe is the weapon that's made to hunt Lagiacrus. It's got great damage and range, an offset to deal with a few slow attacks, and mobility to get around when Lagiacrus is charging all over the place. You can use whatever weapon you'd like. I'm just giving a few suggestions here for what works best for me. I think a shield weapon is what makes the hunt mostly a breeze, but it's not necessary to succeed. On your armor, you have a lot of options for things to add to your build. A more defensive build will make for a longer hunt, but your odds of succeeding on the quest goes up quite a bit. I would highly consider putting 3 points of thunder resistance into your build, as it's cheap, and the thunder attacks from Lagiacrus are quite deadly. Divine Blessing's also worth considering either as a replacement to thunder resistance or an addition. If you have extra slots in your armor, I would definitely look at Evade Extender for this hunt too. Lagiacrus moves around a lot, and many weapons are pretty slow at getting around without dodge rolls. Greatsword, Charge Blade, Switch Axe, the bow guns, the lances, and Hunting Horn benefit a lot by dodge rolling to position and line up attacks. Evade Extender is going to give you more distance on those rolls to either get to where you need to be or to pre-dodge attacks to be out of range completely. Both of these are very helpful against Lagiacrus. Outside of these suggestions, your general damage skills are good and worth running. Making a few concessions to slot in some defensive skills will make a big difference in succeeding on hunts. And once you learn the hunt and feel really comfortable with Lagiacrus, you can always swap off of your defensive skills and put in more offensive ones. I've got a build on screen that you can use if you'd like. Feel free to swap the weapon out with whatever weapon you use and make sure it's not a thunder element weapon. I try to pick gear that's pretty easy to find and you'll have access to. The decorations may be the toughest part of the build, but no worries. Just do your best with what you have. Having a build with a few points missing here and there won't make a huge difference. There's a ton of items in Monster Hunter Wilds, and many of them are very useful. I've got 2 item pouches I use for my hunts, one for Mushroommancer and one without Mushroommancer items. Feel free to copy my setup if you'd like. Make sure to actually use your items on the hunts though. I sometimes cling to items too much if they're hard to find or expensive to craft, but using your items will make hunts easier, so don't be afraid to chew through them to get you through hunts. Your buffing mushrooms or potions are very strong. Make sure you use those right at the start of the hunt. And traps are great for finishing a hunt early, but you have access to many traps throughout the hunt, so be sure to use multiple in the middle of the hunt for free damage and a bit of breathing room. Mega Barrel Bombs are great if you're running sleep status on your weapon, so save those bad boys for waking up monsters with huge damage. And Flash Pods are very helpful in this hunt and can save you from carding if used after certain attacks. I'll show you what those are in just a minute. Every good hunt starts with the best meal. You could cook your own with the barbecue grill, but consider stopping by the Grand Hub for a meal there. They cost a meal ticket, but the skills you get from those meals are very good, especially Insurance and Moxie. These are going to save you a cart or from getting carted a single time, which gives you a little more breathing room if you make a mistake or get caught by big attacks. All right, your build has been made, your item pouch is put together, you've hit the like button on this video, and you've had a good meal. It's time to fire up the quest and jump in. While you're traveling to Lagiacrus, be sure to use your buffing items. You're going to want to do this before the hunt starts instead of trying to dodge attacks while consuming them. I use Parashrooms and Nitroshroom, Toadstools, and Devil's Blights to get things started, and I set my item wheel to Mandragoras so I don't have to find them later. And before we jump in, know that there's 2 phases of this hunt. The first is just like any regular hunt. Lagiacrus is quite mobile and will be all over the place trying to get you out of its space. The second phase occurs when it goes into its lair. It'll head underwater and, well, I'll explain that to you in a bit. Let's get through phase 1 first. One tip for every hunt, but also very useful here, is to start with a sneak attack. I see a lot of hunters who jump off the sacred for a mount to start, but I like to save that for after the sneak attack I'll only get at the beginning of this hunt. Lagiacrus has a few attacks that are very strong and will likely one-shot you or at least get you very close. And all of those attacks involve lightning. It is in your best interest, unless you're using a shield weapon, to stay out of range of the lightning or you're gonna feel the pain. The biggest attacks that you need to avoid getting hit by are the Thunder Check, the Thunder Dash, and the Thunder Dome. And here's how you can avoid each of them. Thunder Check. This is either a 1 or 2 hit attack. Be sure to look for that second attack after the first. You can avoid this attack by dodging towards the head of Lagiacrus. And remember that the second attack, he swaps sides, so you'll be dodging back and forth. Thunder Dash. This one can be a little tricky. You're going to need to fight the urge to Superman dodge the first part of this attack. The first part is a dash straight at you. Dodge roll to the side, or if you know you won't be able to get out of the attack with the dodge roll, take the hit. Don't Superman dodge this part of the attack, because the second part of the attack is where Lagiacrus carts you. This huge thunder explosion hurts a ton, and you need to Superman dodge that attack or be out of range. Thunder Dome. This attack has 2 versions, and either way you'll want to not get hit by it. Each version starts the same way, with the big dome of lightning around Lagiacrus. The easier version hits at a short range around Lagiacrus, so when you see Laggy charging up like this, you're going to want to dodge roll backwards. One tip here is if you're using focus mode, you could turn your character 180 degrees and use the attack you're stuck in the middle of to at least move away from Lagiacrus. The second version of this attack throws extra lightning out and further out from Lagiacrus, but you can see where the lightning's going to hit. See the glowy circles forming on the ground? Don't stand there. The extra bolts on this second version of the attack hit in a kind of hexagon shape around Lagiacrus and then swap to new positions after the first strike. You can use this to your advantage and run left and right to dodge the bolts. And the nice thing about this version of the attack is, after almost every time, there's a weak spot on the back of Lagiacrus. So be sure to dodge roll the extended bolts, run up to Lagiacrus, and focus strike its back for the free damage and a knockdown. Also, if you're running Charge Blade, here's a quick tip for either version of this attack. Guard the lightning with your shield, and when the attack is over, and assuming you have files stored, you can go straight into a super amplified elemental discharge for a great counterattack. During or before any of these 3 attacks, the Thunder Check, the Thunder Dash, or the Thunder Dome, you can also use a Flash Pod to blind Lagiacrus and cancel the attack. This can be really good for getting you out of a tight spot, so keep those Flash Pods on you. You may notice that your damage isn't great against Lagiacrus compared to other monsters while using the same build. Don't be alarmed, this is entirely true. Not only does Lagiacrus have a large health pool, but it takes less damage than other monsters, which can make for a long hunt. The best places to be hitting Lagiacrus is its head, back, and back legs. You can tell you're hitting these spots if your damage numbers are yellow. I like to position myself right in the little nook between its front and back legs and smack the side of the croc. This is dangerous when it comes to the Thunderdome attack, but it does help in knowing where to aim. I almost entirely avoid hitting Lagiacrus' head unless it's on the ground. That thing just wheels around way too much. And the last thing to keep in mind during this part of the hunt is to look for some rocks that you can drop on Lagiacrus. They do a ton of damage and also knock Lagiacrus down. There are 3 rocks you can drop on Lagiacrus here. The first one's in Area 15. The next one's in Area 13. And the last one's in Area 12. These rocks will significantly speed up your hunts. Don't miss them. Prioritize your hit points. Don't feel bad for going back to camp to restock as needed. and keep smacking Lagiacrus when you get the opportunity. And as the hunt progresses, Lagiacrus will move to its lair where a big change in the hunt occurs. Eventually, Lagiacrus will retreat to the water. You can entirely ignore this section of the hunt if you want. Just don't go in the water and wait a few minutes, and Lagiacrus will light up this lair in a huge amount of thunder. But fortune favors the bold, and you'll get a lot of great damage in by chasing Lagiacrus into the water. Underwater combat is more like a turn-based game than anything. You have no weapon attacks available or guardian with your shield, but you could do some range damage with the slinger ammo strewn across the basin. Your goal is to dodge the attacks thrown at you by Lagiacrus, then counterattack by grabbing onto Lagiacrus with your clutch claw and hitting the weapon attack button to smack Laggy. You also don't need to wait your turn. You can clutch onto Lagiacrus whenever you'd like. Just keep an eye out for attacks so you can dodge away before getting hit. There's also 2 rocks that you can drop from Lagiacrus here as well. Be sure to lure the gator over for a ton of big damage. You can consume items and even leave this water area as needed. Don't feel bad to take a break underwater if you need more items or some breathing room. Eventually, after enough weapon attack, you'll get this sick cutscene. Enjoy it, because you earned it. This is another instance of large amounts of damage that will make the hunt a lot quicker for you in the end. And as you keep going, dodging big lightning attacks, smacking Lagiacrus when you get the chance, and dropping rocks on its big dumb head, you'll get skulls on the map next to Lagiacrus. This is your opportunity to put down a trap and throw 2 trank bombs on it while it's trapped to finish the quest. You've done it. The gator's been got. Lagiacrus is a pretty long hunt by the nature of how tanky it is and how much health it has. Take your time, enjoy the hunt, and eventually you'll get everything you need. If you're hunting for Lagiacrus sapphires, be sure to take on the harder version of this hunt, the tempered Lagiacrus. That sapphire is a very low drop rate and even lower on the non-tempered version of Lagiacrus. A way to speed up your time getting these is to find investigations with the guaranteed sapphire drops in the rewards. Great work on hunting Lagiacrus. I hope this guide was helpful. Have a fantastic day and happy hunting.